Power Rangers is back! Yes! Okay, so we open up on Sledge's ship at the moment. We are, you know, the bad guys are all there. You've got Sledge, Poison Eater, and then you've got Fury, and they're all kind of talking about how in the previous episode, the E-Tracer has been destroyed and Fury took it, and then pretty much they all start talking. They have the charger there for it, but all of a sudden, like, you know, Sledge and Poison Eater are kind of picking on Fury. They're kind of like saying, like, you know, you're worthless, you're not even worth anything on this. And to be honest, I would fight Sledge full-heartedly on that ship and just cane him after if he spoke to me like that. I wouldn't care what happened to me. I'd just be like, you're disrespecting me, boy, and then I'd go for it. So when they all start talking, like Sledge says, get off my ship, and Fury goes off. Then you meet the kind of the bad guy, the puzzler, which kind of reminds me of the Riddler, but they're all talking about like using Energem and gaining power for it. And Fury just takes it and says, come on, we're going down to Earth, we're going to this like secret lab, or this lab in general, and we're going to recharge it, and then we're going to take the Terrorzord, and then we're going to use it. So no one can really stop them, and he grabs the two guys, and takes them down to the planet, and that's pretty much it. So now we find out a little bit more of how Riley works with his mind, how he figures out everything, how he analyzes, and you can see it where it's angles and it's logic, and it's not too bad, but I kind of found it a little bit annoying to some degree. But he's analysing everything while the others are talking about the E-Tracer, and Riley turns up and says, look, logic dictates that this is going to happen. They need to recharge it. There's only two places they can do it, here in the cave, which they're not going to get hold of, or this lab that apparently they only have now talked about. So that is the next logical step. So it's like, boom, okay, let's head there. We switch to this whole kind of like lab, and the puzzler is watching these kids play chess, and he's like going, oh my god, how could you, that's not what we need, no, etc, etc. Fury tells him to kind of like look after, don't let the Rangers in. If they appear, because they are, you know, keep them out, that's his main goal. Where he takes this other guy, I can't remember his name, I can't remember at times, and they start kind of hooking Fury up to this machine to actually produce a power to the Energem. Now, I know what's going to happen now. I kind of thought it was Tyler's dad, but it's another person, let's just say that, and we'll talk about it at the end. So they start kind of hooking up, and while Puzzler is like looking out the window, he's like saying, oh no, this whole chess game is completely off, and he runs out and says like, no, that's wrong, and the kids run off. They happen to run into a Power Ranger, and he drops all the pizzas because he was getting them for everyone previously, and just everywhere. And I'd be like, ah, I want me like set it down first, but no, all the pizza's wasted, and basically Chase and the Puzzler have a fight, and then the Rangers turn up to go in the lab. They all rush into this building. That looks really cool for filming. I would love to have that sort of place for filming. So what's quite cool is this also kind of remind me of the whole like the monster episode with where Alpha sends the Rangers to a haunted house where the powers don't work properly. So as the Rangers are splitting up and looking around, Puzzler has changed a lot. He's made doors disappear, he's changed hallways, he's looped things, and then suddenly he finds this whole plan and goes, right, I'll do the whole building at once. And this is a very smart move because the Rangers can't do it, and Riley is pretty much behind him at this point. And then the Puzzler goes like, oh, the whole building's going to be cold, and makes everything ice cold. At that point you see him running up, and you can still see a shadow, and Riley's like, I'm not going to do anything, I've just found this board, I'm not going to look up the stairs where the monster's going to be. So he kind of starts thinking outside the box. He notices an air vent and goes in a Bruce Willis style and goes like, I'm going to find you. And he kind of analyzes where everything is, and it's kind of interesting, but again, I found it annoying after a while. But he kind of starts crawling through this vent after he's talked to the Rangers, and gets cut off from them. Fury is now charging the Energem to full power, and as Riley is kind of like crawling through the vents, he finds them, and this does remind me a lot of White Light Part 1 and 2, where Billy is kind of like climbing through the command center, and I thought that is pretty much really cool. That's what I like, and it brought up a really kind of big kind of thought on it, made me think, oh, I like that, that's really cool, they're going back to the roots that way. So each of the Rangers, they're kind of going through things, and the editing was quite nice. As soon as the Ranger walked through one day, rather than being cut off like halfway, you actually saw it happening. I liked it. Coda's the only one that makes me laugh because he finds a vending machine, and he finds this cookie that he likes a lot, and this, oh, it made me giggle because that's his own thing. you know, he doesn't care about the cold, he doesn't care about anything. He wants this cookie, and when he does, he finds this like this quarter and pops it in, and all of a sudden the cookie just hits the door, the glass window, and that's it. And he's like, no! I found that hilarious, to be honest. I thought it was a nice little touch to it. After they kind of like the engine's charged, Fury like cheeses it, and then Riley then gets up onto the kind of the top of the building after Fury. And one thing is, you think that they could hear, because Kendall like contacts Riley and starts speaking to him really loudly as well, not like, hey Riley, hey, you've got to go after the monster. So she tells him everything's gone wrong. And Fury disappears. He's like, boom, he's off to kind of summon the Zord, which we know that's going to happen. So in theory, Riley then challenges the puzzler to a match of like skills, and the Rangers are freezing cold inside the building. The rules are basically, if if Riley turns around and wins, then the puzzler will release the Rangers. But if Riley doesn't win, it's Energem to puzzler, which is fine. You know, it is a state, you know what's going to happen. At this point, when they're playing chess, Riley's analysing how far distance it is to each area and throws marbles in. So it's ping, ping, throws them when when puzzler is not looking, and this is kind of ingenious. This then gives the Rangers the idea to actually go through the vents, and they can do also the Bruce Willis style to get on the top. When the puzzler wins the match, he's like, oh, you've got to give me your energy. He's like, no, this is not a game of chess. This is a game of getting them out first, and you've just lost. And I thought, ah, tricky Riley. Tricky, tricky, I like that. Then it becomes the whole fighting thing, quickly roll call, and then Fury summons the Terrazord and flies, and the Rangers beat all the minions, they beat the puzzler, and the Terrazord comes out of nowhere and starts attacking the Rangers, and they're like, whoa, 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 hang on a minute, you know, they're in the Megazord, they're fighting. If they're not mentioned, they summon the Megazord. Then Sledge sees this sort of thing and goes, oh, do you know what, I'm actually going to use this advantage, make Puzzler grow. And Puzzler wasn't in that long, but it was like kind of like a team up. They start battling, and suddenly the Megazord grabs the Puzzler and throws them towards the Megazord. Terrazord then suddenly turns around and thinks that it's been attacked, so it kills the Puzzler straight away. So that's kind of like, oh, that's interesting. At this point, the Zord loses all its power, or is running low on power, and then just kind of flies off, and Fury's like, oh, I'm back down on it. Fury returns to the ship, and Sledge has kind of been talking, saying like, you know, this is cool, that they've now got a Zord effectively, and I just really hate the fact that Sledge has just turned around and gone like, from the first part, it's like, I hate you, get off my ship, to the point where he's like, hey, guess what, you're now my best friend, because that's what we're doing. So it kind of just carries on, and they become friends, and Poison Eater's like, oh no, I feel really disheartened, oh no, what am I gonna do? Back at the command center, they're chatting. Keeper gives Riley some kind of help and be like, hey, yeah, you know, don't feel down about this, you did really well. And then basically he tells, Riley tells Tyler what he saw, you know, and then it kind of flashbacks, and Tyler's really excited, he's like, whoa, 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 tell me everything about this one. And then that is pretty much a very quick breakdown of the entire episode. Now, my kind of thoughts on it was, I liked it, it was interesting to see Riley, but now some of the characters are grating. Now, I know with bad guys who are powerful, they're like, hey, you've got, you know, if you're not doing what I say, get the hell out of my ship, don't be on part of my team. And that, it kind of like irritates me from going to like, get off my ship, to you're my best friend. And the whole thing of like Riley's kind of logical sense is slowly grating on me as well, but he's an okay ranger. I like the whole graphics where it kind of worked out like the percentages or the ways forward or what he could do and what he couldn't do. I really like that. It's a nice point of graphics, and it just makes me think, oh, what else could they do? Are they going to use this later on, or was this just like a one-off episode? Who knows? I don't know. But not a bad episode. I like the house, and I like some of the references back to Mighty Morphing. Even if they weren't, I saw them and thought that's really cool. So there we go, Rangers. There is episode 9, I think, of Power Rangers Dino Charge. Let me know down below what you thought about it. If you've seen it, or when you see it, let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. And if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check out Yada Games and all that lovely goodness. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.